Splendid Creators! We are the light that shines on all that we can see. And all we gotta do is be.
Still at Susan's house, of course, and I'm out for a walk with Bella. Last night when I got on my computer, I was going to upload and create a video and upload it to YouTube, just a short one of Susan and I taking our walk yesterday. And what I discovered was on my camera I had some videos from about 10 days ago that I had created, that I had taken, and had not uploaded, had not shared them with anyone. And so I got a chance to rewatch them, and it was actually just, of course, the most perfect timing, the most perfect orchestration to watch them. And so I want to share them with you today, even in probably a two-part video, because it's going to be a little bit lengthy. But I wanted to share or document or whatever. It just feels right to do this experience that I've been going through. I'm just checking out my dog. Anyways, so about 10 days ago, I'm just getting distracted by something. I think somebody's bringing the garbage way down the hill. I'm going to stop and pause. 10 days ago, my spirits, my vibration went plummeting down, spiraling down to depression and powerlessness. It just, I was like really, really struggling. And it was just my attention to some contrast that was quite challenging, and I grew it by my attention to it. And but of course, in 2020 vision retrospect, I see the perfection of it all. So I'm just going to go ahead and share some of it. I don't want to reconstruct a bunch of baloney, but I'm just going to go ahead and share what feels good, and then rewatch this video when I go to the editing process. And if it feels good to leave it in, I will and share it, and if it doesn't, I'll take it out, and you'll never know. So here goes. So basically, about the end of February, one day, it seemed like everything was going just wonderfully and fine. Maybe this story will help somebody else. I hope so. Inspire someone else that's got a challenge going on. So back at the end of February, when my landlord was out of town, one day I opened up the sliding glass doors to my cabin, and I had my dog here, Bella, who I'm sure most of you who have watched these have seen her before. She was on a leash that the handle part was one of those retractable long leashes. The handle part was inside the cabin, and she was outside. And I mean, this is something normal that I've been living there since October, had done every day, all the time, giving her some outside time. Well, I went to open up the door, and at the exact same moment, the neighbor's dog, a little schnauzer, was outside doing his duty with the lady that lived, the lady owner. And Bella and this schnauzer each kind of were Bella was a little territorial of her property versus the schnauzer's property, and often barked at this dog, but we never had any problems other than that. Well, anyways, this day I opened up the sliding glass doors to walk out, and Bella just took off running and actually attacked this neighbor's dog. I mean, literally attacked the dog. And it's a lot of noise. There's somebody over there in their garage working. And she bit this dog in the butt. and the dog ran off, and Bella's leash got stuck on something, so she couldn't go further and try to do any more damage to this dog. This is quite peculiar, though I've had quite an action journey with some things and aligning my dog with some behaviors that I want. She had never attacked a dog before, and she's 9 years old, and I've had her for like 5 years. So anyways, this is what she did. And the owner, of course, freaked out. And I found out kind of later that the owner, the woman, had quite a practice vibration of terror going on in her life. Hope that, anyways, that's just the way. That's what came out anyways. So this sure didn't help. And we both attracted it, you know. I take responsibility for creating it. I still to this day don't fully understand how and why it happened, but I do have some bits and pieces of it, and you know what? I really just don't care anymore. If I need to know, I'll know. Anyways, so the end result was the Schnauzer ended up just fine. It took a few stitches in his butt. The thing was that that's not exactly how it unfolded. The owner instead decided to have the dog go into major surgery. And I don't know why, but that's just what happened. Instead of just getting a couple stitches. So anyways, they wanted me to pay the bill for the surgery. And I did not have the money to pay the bill at the time. Now, bottom line is, I would have preferred to just write a check and be done with it. And I would have loved, I didn't want that dog to get hurt. I love dogs and love animals. And I didn't want them to have to pay the bill, you know. And I really wasn't concerned about whose fault it was or taking blame or responsibility. I just wanted an answer and a solution and wanted it resolved. And like I said, I would have preferred to just write a check for the $400 and be done with it and move on. And matter of fact, that's kind of just what I was being like guided at the time with, was to just, you know, no matter what I was going through, was learning that if through my misalignment I seemingly caused someone else or myself some kind of problem, to not, come on Bella, to not go into blame or spend or waste any energy and time with feeling guilty or sorry, or, I mean, that's not going to change a darn thing. It was to just get back in alignment and let the universe sort out the details. Come on, Bella, come on. Sort out the details and clean up the mess and take care of it for me. And I go on and be happy and joyful and play. And yeah, that's where I was at. So even though it was difficult or a challenge for me to align with that and to not focus on, you know, what is and what happened and how, what everybody else wanted and how they felt and how they just, what they said and all that around it, including my landlord when he returned, her husband, the woman who owned the dog, the husband, and all that, I managed to align and did pretty well. And it was pretty extreme, but I did it. And I grew a lot from that, you know. I felt pretty good, and I felt like I knew the universe would take care of it, and all would be well. But I guess it wasn't done. It wasn't meant to unfold quite that. Maybe I'm working up to allowing, being that state of being that allows it to be that easy. Yeah, I guess that's what, oops, what I'm doing. Hold on. But that is not how things went. So I worked it out the best in the moment. I actually manifested $20 and gave that to the people and said that I would take care of the bill, but I didn't have any other answers for them than that. And they weren't really happy with that. They wanted more answers. They wanted some kind of, that's what I seem to have kept attracting in this situation. Between them and then later on my landlord, they wanted me to have a plan. They wanted me to tell them what they wanted to hear about how I was going to solve this problem and how I was going to take care of it. And the only plan I had was to stay in the vortex, to stay in alignment, that I knew it was already done, and to just allow it. And that I would let them know as soon as I knew. So anyways, I got involved in my landlord's fears and vibrations a little bit. I did pretty well with it. Pat myself on the back for a while. I did really well. But nevertheless, he wanted a solution and an answer, like I just said. And one day, he came up with one for me. He wanted to pay, he wasn't minding his own business, and he wanted to pay this vet bill. And he wanted me to give him the title to my vehicle. I have a vehicle, my SUV, but the transmission is fried. So anyways, it's not really very mobile, but it's mine, and I have the title, and it's free and clear. And he wanted me to give the title over to him. He'd pay the bill, and I'd pay him back. Well, bottom line is, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel like the answer. I felt like he was sticking his nose in my business. And although I really appreciated his answer, it just felt like I knew he was trying to take control of the situation, and because he wanted an answer and a solution right now. And simply, it was just go with what felt good, and it felt good to tell him, no, that's not going to work for me. And he also wanted me to tie my dog up inside the cabin whenever I opened the door. And I had already agreed, it felt good to agree to tell the neighbor that she would no longer be outside like she was. That I would keep her in the cabin. Anytime she was outside, it would be me holding on to the leash and taking her for a walk. So I'd already agreed to that. It did not feel good to tie her up inside the cabin, however. And I said, no, that's just not, I'm not going to do that. That doesn't feel right. Well, that set off my landlord, and it really set him off. My landlord I used to be in a relationship with. Anyways, just to throw that little thing in there, all those vibrational dynamics were part of it. But he, for somehow justify that this is his, he's just doing the best he can with whatever his perspective is. His response was that I needed to be out of my cabin in 24 hours. Crazy to me. After, he and I were in a relationship for over a year, and I lived with him in his house for over a year, and had been down in the cabin for like 6 months and caretaking the property, and we had established an amazing relationship as friends and as, soul partners in this life. Anyways, that's just what was for me. The contrast was that he wanted me out in 24 hours, and of course, whatever. Which pretty much freaked me out, to be honest with you. I had no money, no place to go. I had been living there in exchange for my rent and utilities, and any other money or food or anything that I got was just by pure alignment and not through any action, not through any work. So I was faced with that, and my son, Keith, whom you all have seen on videos, of course had the same fate and situation thrown at him. So, when you know what you don't want, the contrast is pretty strong. You know what you do want, and that really did force me to align. Darn it, it forced me to align. So I don't even remember how the heck it unfolded, but somehow, I guess the truth was that my landlord, my friend, was pretty much freaking out of his own alignment. You get that frickin' there. But he was, and that felt like crap to him, so he's a good person, and I love him dearly. And he aligned with backing off. That was just a real knee-jerk, fear-based reaction. And he just kind of somehow let things hang a little bit looser than be out in 24 hours, but he really demanded that I come up with an answer, a solution, and a plan. And that went on, I think, for about 2 weeks of me telling him the only plan I had was that it's already done, that it's created, you know, a deliberate creation. And he knows this stuff. He knows Abraham's teachings. He knows we create our reality, but you know, people are where they are, including you and I. So that really just wasn't good enough for him. And but I had to pay attention to my own alignment and not his. And so wonderful things, of course, unfolded because of I did just that.